Good morning. Good morning. It's Carol Chamberlain filling in for the lovely Leza live on the news 103.5 KYCA. How is everybody doing? Matt, what's cooking with
Oh,
you?
that's a loaded question. Loaded question, Carol.
I love to load up those questions. So, what's going on with Matt this morning?
Oh, I'm good. I just was late. I was talking about a little off air, but I got ambushed by my neighbors.
Well,
So,
actually, I noticed that you were a little late, but
yeah, about 10 minutes. So,
actually, it's good to see you sitting down and present with us now. Why were you late?
so I live in a part of town that is in the county, but the city is right next to it, and a lot of people listening probably know there is a little hospital going on 69, and that is the end of my street.
Oh,
And we all got letters. So that's city of Prescott. Everything else is county behind it.
uh-huh.
And we all just recently got letters saying that they're going to put in a helicopter pad there.
Oh.
And my neighbors are not happy.
And how about you? Are you happy?
I'm indifferent. I mean, I like helicopters, but I could go without the noise. But the truth of the matter is I'm never home. So it's fine.
But they are, because you told me just a minute ago, they are older in their 60s, ladies.
Yes, they are older and they are home and they don't, they're not super happy about it and they're afraid it's going to devalue the homes and
Oh,
stuff
blah,
like
blah, blah.
that. And
I would think it would give them a little excitement watching it come and go.
maybe. I don't know. I mean, I was trying to explain to them that like our opinions are valid, but we're not in the city, so we don't really
Oh, you don't count.
get much of a say, right?
Actually, I think that would be pretty sad to live in the county, only that you don't get to have a say in things like that. And when you vote, you don't get to vote on things that the Prescottonians get to vote on.
Right, but we're still paying our taxes.
And
so,
yeah, you might be paying more soon. But anyway,
yeah.
I will have to tell you, Ken and I live close to the airport, and I personally love the sound of planes coming and going. Helicopters do get a little loud, but planes for me are really neat. I like the activity.
Where are you at by the airport?
We live on the south course of Antelope Hills.
Oh, okay. So you're literally on the airport, yeah.
Yes, we're in that. I call it a danger zone. I don't know what it's really called anyway. So, what the heck are you doing, Drew?
Just my normal routine here. Having fun with the shows.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that. So your neighbors aren't complaining to you this morning.
No, my neighbors don't complain. They know better. So, no, we have great neighbors. Our block, we do either a Taco Tuesday or a Wherever Wednesday. There's 7 houses, and 5 of the 7 meet every week, and we go out, and everybody takes care of each other's dogs and pets. It's really wonderful.
Actually, I just love that. So you really are in a lovely neighborhood. Where'd you go last night for Taco Tuesday?
Well, unfortunately, we moved it to Wherever Wednesday, so probably around 3:30 or 4, there'll be a text, hey, we're going here. It's somebody makes a decision, and sometimes we change. It could be Mexican, Chinese, barbecue. Whoever does it, that's who does it.
Well, and so what time do you go to dinner with your neighbors?
Usually 5, between 5 and 5:30, because I'm the only one working. The rest of them are retired. So
I can't imagine eating at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd be so hungry by 9.
by 9, we're sleeping, dear. I got to get up at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, I forgot that. Okay,
So,
that's a good one.
Yeah, we get up, and otherwise, and it takes a while to wake up. Trust me.
So one of my neighbors also does a card night every week, and before it, they go to dinner. So they have dinner at 4:30 in the afternoon. I know. It's just cocktail hour hadn't even started at 4:30. I just don't understand it.
Well, it's real simple. There's 2 kinds of people. There's farmers and bartenders. So if you're a farmer, you're up early and you go to bed early, and if you're a bartender, you're up late.
I gotcha. So I find it absolutely amazing that people are really going on big trips this year. So, Matt, have you gone on a big trip?
I showed up here today.
I love it
I'm
that
sorry.
that happened. And I'm glad that you're going to be here for the next 3 weeks
Yeah,
because
I know.
will be.
We'll see how this goes. I might have to call in sick.
You stop that right now.
Well, I was going to say you might want to watch yourself talking about illegal gambling card games with our guests coming in.
Oh, that is absolutely true. We're not talking anything illegal. I mean, their card games are stuff like euchre.
I don't even know what that is.
I just learned how to play it. It's really a fun game.
Is that a swear word?
No, but I
Okay.
used it as one in the first game that I ever played. It was something like, oh, well, I won't even say that. But, okay, the reason I'm asking about trips, how about you, Drew? Have you gone on a trip this year?
Yes, April I went on a trip.
Where?
Got on my motorcycle and took off to Austin, Texas, and from there down to Florida, and then to the Keys, and then Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee. Did Tell the Dragon, which was the main reason for doing that. That is the premier road in the United States. 318 turns and 11 miles, no intersections, banked roads.
Oh, my.
So yeah,
Golly.
rode all the way out there to ride this road, and rode it 2 or 3 times, and just it was like being on a roller coaster on your motorcycle.
Did anybody skid off of it?
I'm sure there has been, but we didn't.
Not you all. You are seasoned riders. I'm so happy
Yes.
to hear that. The reason I'm asking is, I went on a big trip, which was, oh my gosh, Ken and I had the trip of a lifetime, honestly.
Good.
Italy and France. And the only bad thing is it rained the whole time we were in Paris, which was such a downer. But oh my gosh, it was just breathtaking. Italy was the most wonderful thing. And now we're sitting back waiting for our wine and olive oil to be delivered. But the reason I'm bringing that up at all, since I've already returned, is 3 of my good friends are on big trips.
You influenced them.
2, I think they had to plan these before I even left, but ours has been in the plan for a long time. 2 of them are on cruises. Of course, we know about Leza's wonderful cruise. And one of them is going to spend 3 weeks in Vietnam. Silence. I mean, it's just...
They all sound like lottery winners.
Yeah. 3 weeks.
So, I mean, would you like to... Drew, this is a question for you because you lived through it as I did. Would you want to go to Vietnam?
There would be other places I would go to first before I would go there.
Okay.
I mean, is it on the list? Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see every place in the world, to be honest with you. I think that'd be wonderful. There's a lot of places I don't want to go, but yeah, there's a few more places in front of that before I would go to Vietnam.
My friends were very excited about going, and of course 3 weeks is a long time, so if you're going to do it, I guess you do it. But the first time she said Mekong River, the first thing I thought of was Mekong Delta and
Exactly.
all the people who lost their lives there. But I understand it is a really great tour. I asked her if she was going to be able to shimmy down those tunnels. I understand that the entry to those tunnels are so teensy that a lot of people can't even fit through them. She's not going to do that because she's claustrophobic.
That's good. Matt, no Vietnam for you, buddy. You're not going through the tunnels.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will not fit in those tunnels at all. They'd have to excavate them pretty good.
Oh, my God. They'd have to do a little extra digging, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think they're going to be doing that. Okay, so...
Oh, she's getting desperate. She's busting out with the news, Drew. You bored her to the news, Drew.
Oh, no, there's not a lot there. Actually, there's just not a lot that I saw today. But one thing that I love words. I am a big vocabulary person, and today is National Dictionary Day. And I found out something that I did not know. You know, Webster is the person who Noah Webster started the dictionary, and he started this in 1807. And guess how long it took him to finish it?
1907?
I think it was like 30 years.
I think, oh my gosh, see, you're so good. It was 27 years it took him to eventually complete it, and now it's simply known as Webster's Dictionary, which I think is really a great thing. I mean, who doesn't love a dictionary?
The internet.
The internet, Google.
Actually, I do have to tell you, I have not opened a dictionary in probably 10 years. And I look things up a lot on Google. I mean, it's so fast. What the heck would we do without Google? So I learned two other pretty interesting things. One of them is that weight loss may, in fact, be in your genes. With a G.
Not mine.
Okay.
Not a
All right.
J.
I was gonna say.
Not mine.
With a G. It seems that there are 14 skinny genes that some people have and other people don't. I thought that was really very interesting. So, of course, good exercise and eating habits may contribute, but the fact is there is something in your DNA that makes you either be able to lose weight or not. And, you know, there is so much talk these days about weight, well, there always has been, about weight loss because of the Ozempic type of drugs.
Oh yeah, that's exploding across the scene. I mean, South Park did a whole special on it.
Did they really?
Yeah, Cartman goes on Ozempic. It was hilarious.
How much did he lose?
I don't know. They're just spoofing on the show, but yeah.
Well, but you know, they must have had some idea. There is another report. I mean, have you seen the new show with Kathy Bates? It's just started. It's called Matlock.
Yeah, I can't believe Kathy Bates is being Matlock. I mean, come on.
But
Yeah,
have
that's
you
a stretch.
Even I know Matlock, and I'm a young punk.
Well, actually, Matlock is a great show, but I love Kathy Bates, and this is going to be a great show too. I saw the first episode, but she's going all around talking about how she's lost 100 pounds. I didn't really know that she was that big. Certainly, she wasn't that big when she whacked, what's his name, in Misery.
Wow, that's a good reference. It is the month of Halloween, and that's a great horror flick.
Oh my gosh, it was one of the best. It was absolutely one of the best. Anyway, she said that she lost the first 80 pounds by herself and the last 20 on Ozempic. So maybe she's got one of those 14 genes. I thought it was really funny, however, that right after the study on weight loss is a thing saying that Krispy Kreme is going to be now sold in some McDonald's. So that you can have your fill of fat goodness. I don't know why, but they're going to be available in 1,000 McDonald's restaurants by the end of the year. So move over Ozempic, bring on the Krispy Kreme.
Well, but that's one of the things with the Ozempic and all those weight loss drugs is that you don't change your diet.
You have to change your diet. Yes, you do.
Most people don't.
They don't.
Nope.
Yep.
The people I know that are on it eat the exact same as they did before.
And
The results are not good. They lose weight. I know lots of people that have lost a lot of weight using Ozempic.
oh, you're kidding.
I can think of 4 off the top of my head.
But they're
Wow.
losing muscle. They're not losing the fat. That's the difference.
Well, and have you ever seen anybody stop taking them? Do they just go? Well, of course they
Well,
just.
yeah, that's a known fact. If you stop taking the Ozempic or whatever it is, there's like 10 of them that have the same ingredients. When you stop, you put all the weight right back on. So you have to take it for like the rest of your life.
So for a long time, I heard that Ozempic was supposed to be for a new diabetic drug,
It was. Yeah.
and then the diabetics couldn't get her. The people with diabetes couldn't get them because they were being taken by all the.
Well, they're making more money off of the people that want to lose weight than off the diabetics that really need it. I mean, come
my
on.
Exactly. Exactly, Matt. You're right.
Oh, we have certainly gone into a different realm, have we not? Okay, we're going to soon take a break because I'm very excited today to have Police Chief Amy Bonney with us. So we'll be right back after this word. Hello again. It's Carol Chamberlain in for the lovely Leza live on the News 103.5 KYCA. And hello to Chief Amy Bonney.
Well, hello.
You look absolutely fabulous. We were talking about that. You've got the best skin I've
Oh.
ever seen in my life. You're just
Well, thank
beautiful.
That's so kind. Thank
Well,
you.
it's so true. I'm not all that kind, but that's not true. Yes, I am.
Carol, are you planning on committing some crimes?
Yeah,
Because you're really buttering up Amy over there.
Because you look lovely as well. I said that when I walked in. I'm like, well, look at how pretty you look.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Such a colorful pair we are.
Yes,
you
we
in
are.
your uniform and me and not. So, Amy,
Yeah.
you are born and raised in Prescott, Arizona.
Yes, ma'am.
Graduate of Prescott High School.
Indeed.
And when did you know you wanted to become a police officer?
I would say like my first year at NAU.
Okay.
I kind of was exploring some different majors and started taking criminal justice classes and really liked them and decided, well, hey, I don't think I want to be an attorney, and decided I wanted to be a police officer.
Well, actually, that's great. But when you were in the 4th grade, what did you want to be?
I don't remember. I should try to remember that or look at and see. My baby book only goes to like 6 months. I always tease my mom about it. I'm like, you only had one of me. But
Oh, my gosh. I did hear that you were an only child, and you have an only child.
I do, yeah.
It's odd for your baby book to only go to 6 months.
I think my daughter, I made it to like 2, maybe 3. I have to go back and look at it. So,
But I do understand that before you were going to become a police officer, you had music in your life.
yes, I still love music, and I wanted to conduct a symphony.
Oh,
That's what I actually wanted to do. And then I realized there's like one per every other state that gets to conduct a professional symphony. And then I realized that as much as I love music, I really wasn't that good at it. So that was a contributing factor as well.
Oh,
But I
so-
still play music. I still play my instruments occasionally, and I'm learning to play the bagpipes, much to the chagrin of my neighbors.
what possessed you?
I was bored during COVID, and so I ordered like a chanter off of Amazon, and have been, cranking away at that for a while. But I just need to take professional lessons. And I actually have a friend that plays bagpipes. He works at the sheriff's office, and I think he's going to teach me.
I
So-
think the only time I really hear bagpipes being played is at Irish funerals. So is
Yeah.
that a goal?
No. In fact, they use the bagpipes for police and fire funerals as well. And I loathe. I mean, that's just kind of I don't like the word triggering, but it's kind of it evokes a lot of sadness. But no, I want to just play fun Irish stuff and just be weird at parties.
And
just
be able to dance a jig while
Yeah,
you.
like just roll out the bagpipes in the middle of dinner or something. Yeah.
Wait a minute. You said you ordered a what during
A
COVID?
chanter. So that's like the part that you like blow into and use your fingers to make sounds. The actual like bag part that you have like under your arm.
You all need to look at the
and
streaming.
and the drones that go like on your shoulder are a whole other thing, and they're super expensive.
Oh, really?
So I thought I would just see if I can actually make music with the cheap part of the bagpipes before I invested in something like that.
I absolutely understand that. So, what was your instrument when you were in college?
Well, I played the piano from about 3rd grade, and then I started playing the flute in like 4th or 5th grade, and then in high school I played the flute and also the drums.
Oh my gosh, that was always my goal, was to be well, no, that's not true. I really wanted to play the clarinet.
Oh yeah.
But my mother told me that if I was going to play any instrument, it needed to be the flute, so it
Okay.
would push my teeth in.
Oh. It's practical.
It's a very practical instrument. And then I started really loving the sound of a flute. So, Okay, so you graduated from NAU
I did.
and in criminal justice.
I majored in criminal justice and minored in Spanish.
Oh.
Yeah.
Actually, how very helpful Spanish would be. Are you fluent?
Not anymore. And that was the only condition when I went home and told my parents that I was going to be a police officer. My mom said, well, you have to learn a second language. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn Russian or French. And she's like, knock it off and go learn Spanish. You live in Arizona. And so I did.
Practical mother.
Exactly. And so I did speak very, very well until I stopped using it, and now I don't know that I could find my way to a bathroom.
Yeah,
Maybe to a bathroom, but I definitely couldn't have a conversation.
Yeah, I absolutely understand that. So, you graduated from college, and what was your first job?
I first worked right out of college during the summer for Bob Bean out at York RV. And I did that for about 2 or 3 months before I got hired by the police department. So I always credit Bob was my first job. And yeah, I did like customer service calls and asked people about how the service was at York RV. And they told me stuff I knew nothing about, even though my family had RVs. And they told me.
Well,
But-
but you were a good listener, which
Yes.
is very important
Yeah.
in your current job, I
Yeah.
guess. So, after you graduated from NAU, then did you go directly into graduate school?
No, I didn't get my master's until several years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was so fortunate to get a full ride scholarship through the FBI National Academy Associates. And yeah, that was a true blessing because when I first logged on to the portal for the university, there was like a graph that showed how much you owed, and I panicked because it's like showed $40,000, and I called him and I'm like, but and like, don't worry about it. And that was the last I ever looked at it, and I mean, they just paid for it. It was amazing.
So, where's your master's from?
University of Phoenix.
University of Phoenix. And didn't I see where you went to Quantico?
Yeah, I did. That was an amazing opportunity.
Tell me about it. I every time I think of Quantico, I think of Silence of the Lambs.
I
Just
know.
so you know.
Well, and it was filmed there. Like whenever I watch that movie, I'm like, oh, I know where that is. I know where that is. And so the FBI partnered back in the 20s and 30s with local law enforcement entities around the world. And interestingly enough, Prescott Police Department had somebody in session number 1 of the FBI National Academy.
Really?
We did.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a 10-week program, and you are selected from the FBI field offices and vetted through the FBI, and you actually get to go there and live on the campus and train there with leaders from around the world. And I was so privileged to spend 10 weeks with people that I will always call friends. And the network is incredible. It's the strongest network in law enforcement. And I know if you had an issue in Spain, I could call somebody in Spain and get help with a case, or
Oh my!
work. How do they do things in France, for example, or what are they doing in Africa with this kind of situation? So it was an amazing opportunity, a privilege, and to represent Prescott. And yeah, like I said, that network's amazing.
That is so interesting and surprising.
Yeah.
So, how long ago was that?
I went in 2014.
Oh my gosh, 10
And-
years ago.
Yeah, and so what was interesting was Gerald Monahan was the chief of police at that time, and the FBI called right after we had the tragedy of the 19, and they said, what can the FBI do for the city of Prescott? And it's like, well, not necessarily anything right now. I mean, they were helpful
Yeah.
and supportive all around, but he said, well, we would really like a National Academy spot. And yeah.
Oh wow.
So that's how that happened. And then right after I went, I was session 257. Deputy Chief Brambilla actually attended as well several years after me. So
Oh my gosh, I just love hearing that. So, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, you are my first guest in my series called A Day in the Life of a Police Officer. Well,
Okay.
my first one is a police officer. So, we'll be right back after this. Hello again. It's Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA. Our guest this morning is Chief Amy Bonney, and I am going to ask you to reckon back, or is it harken back? I guess it's harken back to 1998.
Yeah.
So, what's your first job in the police department?
So a patrol officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about a day in the life of a patrol officer. What shifts are there?
Well, I'll just tell you, it is so much different today
Okay.
than it was when I first started. I mean, so much different. I don't think there's been a profession that has progressed more and has changed more. This is my 26th year of service at the Prescott Police Department, and I look at what the men and women today in this profession and at the Prescott Police Department are tasked with doing, and I'm like, wow.
Okay.
It's incredible. So, they go to calls ranging from unattended deaths to, helping elderly people, to dealing with mentally ill, shoplifting, domestic, substance abuse. And they have to be experts in every one of those areas.
Is that a possibility?
No, it's not, right? But the expectation of our police officers that are really we have as a nation placed on them. And I think that's because who's open 24/7,
Right.
The police department. And so, a lot of things have gotten piled onto their plates. And, I always say, like, when I first started, over 25 years ago, if there was somebody who was yelling at a stop sign, they were drunk or disorderly or had, mental illness or something, we would roll up, do an interview, and likely take them to jail for disorderly conduct. Well, today we know that we need to get those folks into the right hands and that jail isn't always the option. So they're spending time out there talking to these folks, working with our private partners to get them help that they need. And that takes time, that takes patience. And so they're spending longer amounts of time on calls that 20, 30 years ago we would have spent way less time on.
I absolutely understand that. And I'm wondering, I think that's an important topic that we could spend an entire day on. Because I would think that you would be able to call in one of your partners in like mental health industry and just turn that right over. But I'm hearing you say
we do. So, but it sometimes takes a while for them to get there, and then depending on what route they want to take. So it is a partnership, and we do partner with Spectrum and Polera, and like our regional partners as well, law enforcement and fire entities as well, to really provide a giant safety net.
Okay, so I'm going to take you back to being a patrol person again.
Okay.
And what are the shifts? I mean, are they 12-hour, 10-hour?
We have some that are 12, some that are 10, some that are 8. Depends on where you're working, what you're doing, and where we need you to be.
Okay, so if you wake up in the morning, let's say you're on the day shift, and you wake up in the morning, what's your thought? Are you anxious? Are you excited? Are you scared?
I think it's a lot of everything, right? The reason many of us chose this profession is because you never know what you're going to encounter that day. There really isn't ever a boring day. It can change at the drop of a hat. And so, it could be anything from, like I said, you make a traffic stop in the morning, and this happens more than you would think, and the person is intoxicated. And so they're dealing with DUIs at 7, 8 in the morning, or they're dealing with truancy issues or issues at schools, or people waking up and realizing that their vehicle's been burglarized.
So I am sitting here listening to you thinking a police officer, a patrol officer is really a generalist.
Oh, yeah. They have to be a generalist and be able to respond. They're like a Swiss Army knife. Right? So they have to be ready and prepared for anything that's presented to them. And like I said, they're expected to be experts in everything.
So is there a time of day or a shift that was more preferable when you were younger, one over the other?
Well, when I was younger, I always wanted to work the weekend swing shift or graveyard shift. So like the evenings, early afternoon, because all the stuff would happen down on the row, and all the craziness. But, we've got a lot of officers with young families, so they want to spend time with them. Some of them prefer to work during the day. Some of them prefer to work at night so they can be with their families during the day.
So more crazy things happen after dark.
Well, you'd think, and typically yes, but I mean, depending on the day, you can get into some wild stuff in the middle of the day. It's surprising.
Things are different in reality from what one expects.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I was younger, I was an emergency room nurse.
Mhm.
And the reason I wanted to be in the emergency room is just as you said. You don't know what's coming. It's always exciting. There's just nothing boring
Right.
unless it's completely dead.
Yes.
So,
When I always tell people, there's you'll hear, not very often, but police officers, I've seen it all and done it all. And I'm like, just the second you think you've seen it all and done it all, something will come along and surprise you and go, I did not know that could happen. Or how did he get there?
what was the last thing that happened that made you think that? How did this happen?
I don't think I can say
Oh, okay.
on the radio. I'll tell you afterwards.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, then I'll give you all a hint tomorrow. So, okay. I am sitting here being shown that it's time for a break. I could talk to you just for the entire hour, but we're going to take a break and we'll be right back with Chief Amy Bonney after this. Chamberlain in for Leza live on the news 103.5 KYCA with our guest Chief Amy Bonney. And before we continue our A Day in the Life of, I have a special request from my husband, Kid Maverick.
Okay.
He wants to know if you will offer a regional education on roundabouts.
Yes.
How?
We'll do something. We'll put something on our Facebook page.
Actually, I think that would be
Yeah.
so helpful because I was just hearing on the last show with Steve Shishka and Kel about the huge roundabout that's coming between 169 and 69.
Oh,
Huge.
I'm not in on that discussion.
It's happening.
Okay.
And when that happens,
Oh, wow.
oh my goodness.
Like by Mortimer?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Now, can you imagine the cluster that is going to be?
Oh, it's going to be a nightmare.
It is really going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because
The construction is going to be interesting. Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about that part of it. Oh my goodness. But in the meantime, we think that would be a great idea because we live on Antelope Hills.
Yeah.
And so we go on a roundabout getting into town every time we come into town.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to think that the two of us are the only ones who know how to use them. So,
Yeah, we will all have we have the most amazing community outreach specialist. Her name's Callie, and she does the most wonderful graphics and verbiage and everything like that. So I'll ask her to put something
oh
together.
my gosh.
Yeah.
So, Ken, there
you go, Ken.
Oh my gosh. We have a caller on line 1,
Okay.
and it's Ken. So, let me
Yes,
just.
hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I would like to ask the chief how they addressed this issue.
Which issue?
Several years ago, they put out a call for 20 new police officers, and they got 8 applicants, of which how many qualified, I have no idea, but it takes 2 years to get an officer through. And what can you do to resolve this? I mean, it's a big problem.
Such a question.
Yeah,
How do
I think
you
that's a really good
recruit?
question. So, this is something that the recruiting challenges are nationwide. It's not just here. It's not just in our state. It is a nationwide issue. I have a lot of opinions about why that is, and if you ever want to know those, I'd be happy to tell you. But it takes a year and about $110,000 to select and train a police officer from the point that we hire them and the point that they're a solo officer out there contributing to our bench strength, right? As you will. And so what do we do about it? Well, we offer competitive pay and benefits. Would I like to see those higher? Absolutely. We talk constantly at the city about how we do that. We ensure that they have the very best equipment so they can be the safest they can possibly be, and really just make Prescott the only place that you want to work if you choose to be a police officer in 2024. One of our biggest assets, I believe, is our community that supports us tremendously. We have a supportive council, and so just making sure that we are as holistic as possible in every single approach that we do. We have an extremely robust wellness program to allow them to, hopefully they serve for over 25 years in most cases, and we want them to end their careers better than they were. And we have not seen that across the nation for decades, right? We know police officers and firefighters have a life expectancy past retirement that's like 5 to 7 years as an
wow.
average.
Oh, wow.
And so we want to improve that. We don't want them to suffer as a result of doing this job. And so things like that are what we're doing to work on that. But the reality is, we don't see the numbers that we used to see just across the country. And the thing that I am very adamant about on behalf of our city and behalf of our police department is we're very selective. And so a lot of agencies across the country are hurting so badly that they're lowering their standards. And I am entirely committed, my staff is committed, that when somebody knocks on your door and they're wearing a Prescott police uniform, you know that that's going to be the best person with high character and high morals and the best training and the best ethics. And we can train somebody to shoot, we can train somebody to drive, we can train somebody to write reports, but we can't train character. So we hire for character and train for the job.
Actually, that is wonderful. So it sounds
Well-
like the answer to the question is retention.
Yes.
Instead of having to hire new,
Yeah.
you retain your good.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for your call.
Okay,
Ken.
something I would love to see is Yavapai College getting a police training track, if you will.
Yeah, that's actually where our police academy is held. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
maybe
see,
I'm misinformed.
You
Okay,
you got it already. Thanks so much for your call, Ken.
Thanks,
Okay.
Ken.
thank you.
So thank you from Ken and me, and we'll look forward to that roundabout training.
Okay.
Because frankly,
I'll send her a
everybody-
text right now. Well, at the
Dang.
break.
I would appreciate that. Okay, so we're talking about what it's like to be a police officer. What scared you the most when you were a new young officer? What scared you the most?
You know, I think just not knowing what to do.
Oh,
Right. I wasn't
always.
ever worried. I was worried about being presented with a situation that would just be, that I couldn't work my way through. But the reality is, law enforcement is a team sport, and so there's always somebody there to help you to answer those questions, except in those really exigent circumstances where you got to make a decision right at that split second, and sometimes that happens.
And during that time, your fear sort of goes away, and the knowledge of this is what you've got to do takes over. I'm
Yes.
assuming.
Yes.
It's just like life.
Yes.
So, what excited you the most?
Like I said, just the unknown, like never knowing what your shift was going to be like, and interacting with people and helping them. And, I say all the time, and I know my folks are like, oh, we know. Our job is to meet people on their worst days to get them to their better ones.
Oh.
And so people don't call us, they don't call 911 because things are going great, right? They call 911 because
Not for a
something
pizza.
typically. So really we have to focus on that and recognizing the value that comes with the service to people who are in some really dark times, whether they are, criminals, and we of course have different, different approaches to everything, but just
Exactly.
recognizing that we're not seeing people on their best day typically. So finding the joy and the honor in serving those people that we can on those days.
So I'm assuming that when you were a young officer, the time passed very quickly during your shift.
Oh my gosh, it did.
Rarely bored, rarely sitting around eating donuts.
No. Well, the uniform would betray you, right? If you were to eat a powdered donut or something like that, you got to be smart about those things.
Oh, that's true. And they're so form-fitting, you wouldn't be able to eat too many of them anyway, I'm assuming. So we are going to take another break and come back with Chief Amy Bonney talking about a day in the life of a police officer. Good morning. It's Carol Chamberlain in for Leza Live on the News 103.5 KYCA, talking with Chief Amy Bonney. So, we're talking about a day in the life of a police officer. What was a time when you had to make a really difficult decision?
Oh man, there's been so many, right?
I can only imagine.
From everything from, do I arrest this person, or do I use force on this person, or how do you notify somebody of terrible news at 2 a.m? How do we deal with this kid that needs help and is, I mean, it just runs the gamut.
Was there ever a time when you tried to overtake somebody who tried to overtake you back?
Oh yeah,
Who won?
me. Well, I'm sitting here right now. Here you go.
I can only imagine how very difficult that is. So I wanted to ask about the biggest thing that ever happened to you as a patrol person.
Mm.
But I think I'd rather ask what the biggest thing that ever happened to you today is, Chief.
Mm. The thing that weighs on my heart, what keeps me up at night,
Mm-hmm.
is making sure my officers are safe.
Oh,
Like I said, they have a tremendously difficult job, and so many people don't understand. That's why we really push our Citizens Academy. We want our community to understand the burden that these heroes are taking upon themselves, because they don't have to do the job.
exactly.
Right? I mean, everybody's hiring, but they choose to do this job, and they choose to do it for us in the city. And so, I just worry about them. You don't really understand the gravity of the decisions that they have to make. I don't think anybody really can ever do it unless you're in their shoes.
I can appreciate that. And how many officers do you have? How many police?
So we're authorized 87 sworn. Yeah. So we've got 4 in the police academy right now. We just took 4, just completed their field training. So we're hiring really good people who are, like I said, interested in doing this job in 2024. And I look at what the world is like today. And
scary place. It's a scary place.
Compared to when I started, you talked about somebody fighting with you. Well, when I was fighting with somebody down on the row, there'd always be somebody right behind me, a community member, something like that, offering to help. And now what we see, again, across the nation, the first thing people do is take out their cell phones and take a video and post it to the internet. And, these men and women, in some cases, some young people, are really taking on this mantle of leadership and responsibility that I don't think very many people understand.
Actually, that is a really good point, because in the past, somebody would have offered to help,
Yeah.
and now they just are looking for
they're
something
looking
to
be
go
the
wrong.
next internet sensation.
So, what would you say to a young girl who wanted to become a police officer?
I would encourage her to do so. I really would. I would say this is an amazing opportunity to serve. It's challenging, but you can do anything you put your mind to.
So, does your daughter want to follow in your footsteps?
No. I ask her all the time, I'm like, hey, do you want to be a police officer like Dad and I? And she's like, no. She wants to be, at this point, she wants to be a child psychologist, psychiatrist. I don't know which one's the doctor. I forget.
Psychiatrist.
She wants to be a
So
child.
she wants to go to medical school.
Well, I told her that because I'm like, dude, that's like a long time in school, like 12 years or so plus past. She's like, well, I'll worry about that later. I'm like, okay.
What's that? So you talk about school bills.
Yeah.
But
Oh boy.
in the meantime, is she good in
I'm gonna
science
start
and
a
math?
GoFundMe. She is.
Oh,
She's really good at it, which is weird because I am not.
well, yeah. Isn't that the reason
I'm not good at math.
you got out of music?
Oh
and-
yeah, there's a lot of math and music theory. Like I'm. The teachers always told us we would never have a calculator with us 24/7, right, in school. Well, thank goodness there's smartphones, because I do have a calculator with me 24/7.
That is really good. So we don't have a lot of time left. And if there is one thing that we've missed about the beauty of being a police officer, what would you say it is?
Oh boy, I would just say it's a privilege, and it's an honor, and it really is a noble profession, right? A noble profession to take on that responsibility to do things that most people would never dream of doing on a good day, let alone a bad day.
Well, and as you said, they are faced with people who are having their worst day most often.
Absolutely.
So, well, let me just say how much I've enjoyed
Thank you. It
our
was fun.
time with you, Amy, and you and your police officers are doing a fabulous job.
Thank
so
you so much.
thanks for joining us, and to all of our listening audience, I'll see you tomorrow.